guess what? The revolution is not being described on TV. But the good side of it, we have the internet. And the scary part of it is that they know it and they're trying to take the internet away from us, and we're not going to let them take the internet. This is the reason I have talked about before it was passed and since it's been passed, and I believe it should be one of the first things that we repeal once in office, and that is getting rid of the Patriot Act. 75% of the American people have come to our viewpoint and said, it's time to come home, get out of Afghanistan, bring that vote home. We're all facing the same problem. Government has gotten too big, they fight too many wars, they undermine liberties, write too many regulations, and manipulate the economy too much. So the predictable crisis come, and guess what they do in Washington? Congress, the executive branch, the Federal Reserve, they say, oh, we're in trouble now, so what we need to do is spend more money, borrow more money, have more regulations, and let the Fed print money endlessly. How can you solve the problem? You cannot solve the problem of too much spending and too big a government by spending more and making the government bigger. You have to do the opposite. Because there might be a terrorist hiding behind a bush and having secret weapons and having drone missiles directed from individuals in the United States and going over. And guess what? We make mistakes. I mean, do we know that we kill the right people? No. We know that a lot of children and a lot of innocent people die, and we know that every time you kill one over there under those circumstances, you probably create another 100 who's saying, why are we being terrorized by bombs falling out of the sky? We haven't done anything to the Americans. Now, what we want people to do is make up their own minds about how they live their lives with one very strict rule. You can't hurt other people. You can't take other people's property. But it's your life. And why is it that we as a nation have accepted the notion that as soon as it comes to putting something in our bodies or in our lungs, we have accepted the notion that the government has authority over us, telling us now what to eat and drink and how much salt to have, the whole thing. What happened to us? Why are we such wimps? Why don't we take our liberty back? In the 1960s, there used to be a saying that if you weren't a liberal when you were 20, you didn't have a heart. But if you weren't a conservative by the time you were 40, you didn't have a brain. So I think our philosophy says, why can't you have a heart and a brain together? If you are the individuals protected by Secret Service, you're a very, very special person. And if anybody gets within a certain distance of you, 10 or 15 feet, and holds up a sign and demonstrates, that you can get 10 years for that. The first thing is you're supposed to allow to be able to demonstrate, and people who think they're so special, they shouldn't have special rights. Rights should be equal for everybody, not just for special individuals. We're at an age now where there's not a whole lot of confidence in government. You say, well, isn't that terrible? No, I think it's great because it's the issue of government. What should the role of government be? And that is the question we have to ask ourselves. The founders asked that question. They came with the conclusion to protect our liberties, which means that under our Constitution, that means you have a strong national defense. And I think that is good. But just buying more weapons when we don't need more weapons. How many more weapons do we need? We have more than everybody else put together, and nobody's going to invade us. You know, I don't think we need these more weapons. What we need is a wiser foreign policy, and one design where it's very limited in a republic, the protection of liberty, protecting the marketplace, protecting your right to run your life as you see fit, and a foreign policy which means friendship and trade with people. Believe me, under those circumstances, I think we would have the greatest chance for peace and prosperity. That should be our goal. That is what I think is happening. That is why I am so positive that there is a revolutionary spirit going on in this country, and it's spreading, and there's no army in the world that can stop the spread of an idea. On the long range, if we pursue this course, and we are determined, we will change this country, we will change the concept of liberty, not only in this country, but throughout the world.